There is a beautiful Sanskrit word called Samadhi. And Samadhi is the same word that is used for a grave as well as for enlightenment. And look at the beauty of this connection. When you visit a grave, we call it a Samadhi. You're going to somebody's Samadhi. When a person goes through the journey of meditation and reaches to awakening, enlightenment, we call it Samadhi. The word literally means equal-mindedness. Dhi means mind, sama or samana means equal. So which means death is simply a state of non-fluctuation of the mind. The mind has become so quiet, so still, that it has reached the state of Samadhi. A dead body is in a state of Samadhi in an unconscious way. Death has simply happened to that body. It was not desiring for death. It was not contemplating on death. It didn't want to die. It just happened unconsciously. So it skipped into this state of unconscious Samadhi. And the person doesn't even know that he is dead. But in conscious Samadhi that happens through the journey of meditation, which is the journey of Buddha, which is the journey of Christ, which is the journey of all the awakened beings, you consciously let go of the attachment to the body. And then you become settled in the stillness of death. In this state, death is not negative. It is the most complete, most blissful state of being. Death seems to be very negative, very sad, only when it is associated with the body. But what happens to the spirit, what happens to the self that was clinging to the body, that is liberated. And that is where death acquires this beautiful magnanimous meaning. See, death is inevitable. Whether you want it or not, it will happen. Before that inevitability reaches you, if you can try and move towards death in a conscious way, one step at a time, through the process of meditation, then you will conquer death. In fact, enlightenment or awakening is nothing but conquering death. And that is where all the social ideas of conquering death, warriors, immortality, all these ideas come from here. It's a simple process of trying to understand the nature of your mind and body and then experience the state of awakening. And when you experience that, you will realize the great stupidity of fear of death. You are in life, you are swimming in the ocean of life. All around you is life, and it is the same aliveness that is illuminating your life that is illuminating the aliveness of that tree. It is the same aliveness that is making you move, is making the sun move. It is the same breath that is filling you up from inside and keeping you alive that is moving the clouds. This separation of life is the greatest of illusion. A human being has separated himself conceptually from existence. Although every moment he is drawing in the breath, which is life itself, that is surrounding him. Breath is not air. It is not a process of just, oxygen, carbon dioxide, and just energy process. There is something much more significant that happens during the process of breathing. See, think about it. If breathing was just a mechanical process of taking in the air, and that air being the fuel for the combustion of the food and carbon dioxide being released, there is no reason why you cannot hold breath for 1 hour. Because already your body has enough food, because it is scientifically proven that you can stay without food for almost weeks together. Now, if you can stay without food for weeks together, then why breath is an absolute necessity? Why cannot you hold your breath for 20 minutes, 30 minutes? Because body already has energy, it already has fat. Even if you're not eating for a week, it will burn this fat and it will keep you alive. See, this itself tells that breath is not just a combustion process. Breath is actual life. And if you're not taking in this life, your body cannot sustain. You have to constantly be feeding this body with breath. See, the scientific understanding of the breath is limited. The spiritual understanding of breath is what completes the nature of breathing. And it is only that one breath that separates life and death. That is all there is. If you stop taking that breath in, you will experience death. So which means death is not somewhere in the future. Death is a constant reality. In fact, all your effort is to make sure that you don't experience that constant reality. If death were to be somewhere far away, then you could have forgotten all about it and just lived your life. If you look at it, death is always just right there around the corner. You stop your breath, you can die. You're taking a walk in the traffic and you become unconscious of what is happening around you. A vehicle can hit you and you die. You're walking down the steps. For a moment you forget that you're walking down the steps, you slip and you die. All the time. Imagine unclean hands, bacteria, virus, death, disease. Imagine how much of effort we are putting in to avoid this death. In fact, if there was no death, all your businesses will be bankrupt this very moment. It is the fear of death that is sustaining their business. That is what sells, all these products. Although some of them or most of them don't explicitly mention that this product will help you to protect yourself from death, but it's the same language. We're just slightly using a different language, but we're meaning the same thing. Observe all these marketing, campaigns. You will see all the time they're telling you the same thing. We don't want you to die. You are very valuable to us, and we'll protect you. And here is a product. So death is in a way a very important idea to understand. And more than an idea, you have to make death a pulsating, moment-to-moment reality. You have to start contemplating on the nature of death. Not just dismiss it as some idea or something that's going to happen somewhere in the future. How do you know? People have died at all stages of their lives. Kids have died, babies have died, young people have died, old people have died. Now, what is the guarantee that you're going to live till that ripe old age of 100? You never know. Death can happen any moment. See, your life will fall into place. You will start doing those things that are most important to you when you start contemplating on death. Otherwise, your entire life will simply be wasted on unnecessary things.